Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing my experience and my thoughts about my practice hands. I like them all and all have helped me grow with my acrylic application and my nail designs, and they all still do. However, there are some pros and cons to each hand. The first practice hand I ever purchased, I want to say I purchased it around April of this year from Amazon. The seller is Homove, Homove, and it came with 2 bags of replacement nail beds, tips, a filer, and crystals. The second hand I purchased, I want to say around July of this year. This hand came with a box of tips, a file, cuticle trimmer, tips cutter, and a stand. And I was excited about this hand because it was my first posable hand. My most recent purchase was in September, and I purchased the hand because I saw a review by Christy Mays. I'll link her page down below, and I was amazed about the durability of the hand. I had to try it for myself. So the hand came in with a bag of 500 tips, 2 glue sticks, and a bag of rings, and a stand. I was very excited to get this hand because it just looked so lifelike that I just had to try it. With my first hand, I just wanted to practice on someone other than myself. I've been doing my own nails for years now, since way before the pandemic. And I like how I can pose the hand like an actual hand poses. The con to that is that it's not aesthetically pleasing. So even though I can pose the hand exactly how I wanted it, the pictures just didn't quite look the way I wanted them to. Another con is the mobility of the hand. I had to rotate the hand to the right because if I rotated the hand to the left, the screw that held the hand to the stand would loosen over time and the hand would just come off the stand. And as you can tell, I kind of had a hard time moving the hand to the right. Another con is the base tips. The thumb just, no matter how hard I tried, just would not stay in place. And what I'm demonstrating to you now is how each other finger, the nail base would actually stay in place, you know. So when you're filing, when you're trying to work with the hand, the other fingers, you know, you didn't have a problem, it wouldn't pop off. But when it came to the thumb, how gentle it was or how strong I was, it would just pop off. And I think it had something to do with the inside of the fingertip, where the nail base would clip onto. It just seemed to have been wasted away, and I don't know why, if I only had it for like a few months. A pro, however, is the size of the nail base. I was able to do the designs and the application the way I wanted it to. So the hand kind of served its purpose, and it still does. I still enjoy the hand for how much I purchased it. So, but it just needs some work. So, but I still like the hand. With my second hand, I was excited because of the details of the hand. The texture of the silicone was such a different experience for me, especially since I'm not a licensed technician, as of yet anyway. And so the feel of the hand was so different for me. A pro for this hand is that it was posable, and it kind of, sort of looks lifelike. And the reason I say kind of, sort of, is because yes, I could pose it and it has the details of a hand, but when you look at the profile of the hand, this is not the type of pose that an actual hand actually makes. At least it didn't look like a real hand through the profile. Yes, I could bend the fingers, and it was amazing through a certain view, but when you got that profile look, it just was not appealing. And another con, I think this is with every silicone hand, is everything. I mean, everything gravitates and sticks to the silicone, and I don't think that's avoidable, but it's just very high maintenance. Another con for me was the fingertips. Even though it had some details on part of the fingertips, they just seem so very thin for me. I don't know if I've ever known anyone with a nail bed this thin in real life. I mean, I'm sure there is some people out there, that's why they make the tips as small as they do, but it just didn't leave enough room for the types of nail designs that I wanted to make. I mean, it still works, but they're just too small. I mean, I still like it because of the texture and the experience that I get from it, but it doesn't leave enough room for the types of design that I would love to make. And lastly is the cuticle area. It is so thin, even if you nick it with your hand file, it cracks the cuticle, and so that's a big con for me. Now, this current purchase, my third practice hand, I mean, look at it. It is so lifelike. I mean, the details in this hand or on this hand is just amazing. I mean, look at the knuckles. Look at the hand itself. The details is just amazing. I mean, it looks like a real hand, and I think that from a distance, when you're doing a tutorial and you're practicing in the hand and you're taking a video, you can't even tell that it's a practice hand. I mean, it even has fingerprints on the back, on the palm of its hand, on the tips of its fingers. I mean, it's beautiful. It looks like a real hand. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, I purchased this hand because I saw a review by Christy Mays. I'll list her down below. Her review was so detailed. I mean, the only con with this hand is, as you can tell, not posable. It is movable, it's bendable. When you're working with it, it's just like a real person. It's just not posable. But I can look beyond that because of how amazing the hand looks and how aesthetically pleasing it looks on your videos, on your pictures, and the durability of this hand. I can't tell you how amazing it is the first time I used it. And I did my first nail set. It was a Halloween set on this nail. The durability. And let me show you. When you take your e-file, at least with my other silicone hand, whenever I got close to the cuticle or the cuticle area, if I even nicked it just a little bit, it would crack the cuticle. With this hand, I get to that cuticle area and I may nick it just a little bit, but as you can see, it's not even cracking. Obviously, you're not going to go ahead and stab the poor thing with the e-file, but I'm talking about those accidental bumps to the cuticle that you do when you're practicing. As you can tell there, you know, it's touching the tip, it's doing its job, but it's not hurting the cuticle area. And I could not believe after my first silicone hand that it didn't even crack. I was so amazed. I love it. Another thing I wanted to share was the the space of the cuticle where you insert your tips. It has enough space for you to fit the tip that you need, plus what I'm going to call the base tip and your actual practice tip. That's just the only other way that I can describe it. But when you look at this finger, you can't tell that I have 2 tips on there. And I have it glued on, and I want to share also another review of another YouTuber that I saw. Her name is Sabre. The channel's name is Sabre's Nail Empire. And she did an unboxing of her red iguana hand. And she shared how she glued her tips. And I had such a hard time finding the right primer, the right glue to glue my tips. And I was not able to do it until I purchased this. And this was what she was using on her review. What I saw her do was she glued her base tips to the actual silicone hand. And then she used a sticky tape. I believe they're used for press-on nails to attach another tip to that base tip. And I thought that was so clever, and I think this is based on the red iguana instructions. I'm not sure. You'd have to look up the information for yourself. I think it is based on that, but based on her tutorial, I was able to purchase the red iguana starter kit. And I was finally able to glue my tip to my silicone hand. I'm telling you, I had such a hard time finding the right glue, the right primer. And I think it's because the primer is specifically made for a silicone hand, whereas the primers that I was using is made for a real nail bed and not a silicone hand. So I think that is the difference. But I'm so happy that I saw her tutorial, because I finally was able to glue my tips to my silicone hand. As I said in the beginning of the video, when I purchased the hand, it came with a bag of 500 tips. So they kind of set you up for a good amount of practice by giving you the bag. I got this hand from Exotic Beauty. I'll try and link the information down below in case you're interested. But I'm happy with my purchase. It was not as cheap as my Amazon silicone hand, but I'm satisfied for the quality of the hand and the durability of the hand. So for me personally, I felt it was a great purchase. But it's all up to you and then the hands that you would like to purchase. But in case you're interested, I'll go ahead and list that information down below. Once again, the thing that worked with me is what I'm showing you now, the red iguana primer and glue. And thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and comment down below. Tell me what you think. Give me your input on the things that you've been using to practice, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye guys.